Welcome back to another episode of Tao of Mary. I'm here to teach you how to love yourself more deeply and authentically. I'm here to teach you how to step into the most authentic version of yourself. If that is all stuff that you would like to learn more about, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be making new videos every single week on various topics of self-love, spirituality, my life, my experiences. It is snowing outside of my window, and I feel like it's the perfect vibe to have a relaxed, cozy chat with you. Once again, I am hopped up on caffeine. I would like to start off this video with a prayer and intention so that I may be guided to deliver my message in the best way possible for you. I believe that intention is the ruling force behind everything we do in all of our relationships. Lord, please make me a channel of your peace. I dedicate my work to the liberation of all beings. Amen. Today, I would like to talk to you about guilt and shame. Guilt and shame serve no purpose in your life. They do not help you become a better person. They do not motivate you. They do not help you to love yourself more deeply. They do not help you to love others more deeply. They do not help you achieve your goals. There are many resources out in the world for self-help and for combating depression and for getting your life together and leveling up and glowing up and being a better version of you. I think that it's very confusing to be someone who is hating themselves and depressed and hating their life and feels stuck where they are and gather all of these resources and figure out what to do because the reality is, if you could just get out of it and snap out of that way of living, you would, right? What you need to understand about guilt and shame is that it thrives and relies upon the system of punishment and judgment and serving that punishment and judgment. It's like a law system. I was first introduced to this concept in the book The Four Agreements. Basically, the author talks about how every single one of us in our heads has a judge and a victim. And the role of the judge is to punish. The role of the judge is to judge ourselves and everyone around us and deem them as guilty. And the role of the victim in us is to be that one who is on the receiving end of the guilty judgment. It's the one that holds all of that guilt and shame for our actions or for who we are. When we are constantly judging others, it is because we are constantly judging ourselves. And maybe we don't want to admit that to ourselves, but it's the truth. That is called projection. A lot of the time, the projection of judgment onto others and onto the world is really deflecting that judgment off of ourselves because we can't take the harsh truth of how we feel about ourselves. Oh, they're judging me. They're judging me. The world is judging me. No, you are judging yourself. If we lived our lives completely guilt-free, if we lived our lives completely free of shame, we would have no problem accepting good things. We would have no problem releasing our defenses. We would have no problem forgiving others and forgiving ourselves. We would have no problem admitting to our faults and learning from our mistakes because there is no shame. There is no shame in being human. There is no shame in making mistakes. There is no shame in struggling. There is no shame in feeling our emotions. Feeling shame for emotions is something that I noticed a lot in my life, and I didn't even realize that I was doing it. I lived in discomfort and anxiety because I felt like I wasn't allowed to enjoy anything. I would have periods of time where I was doing very well and I was feeling happy and I was motivated to incorporate new habits and rituals and routines into my life, but then I would fall into the depression. I would fall into negative thinking, or I would have some sort of problem and I would start to feel really shitty. But underneath that depressed, shitty feeling was an underlying sense of guilt for even feeling that way. I was like, how dare I be depressed right now when I have so many things to be grateful for? How dare I not be happy right now? What is wrong with me? I'm doing all the things. Why can't I just be happy? What is wrong with me? And I feel like that was the dialogue or the line that was constantly going through my head. I was always asking myself, what's wrong with you? Why can't you just be normal? Why can't you just be happy? The only way to get through to the other side of those shitty feelings is to feel them the full way through. And that means acknowledging that you have guilt and shame associated with existing or associated with feeling, and you need to acknowledge it and to process it. Radical and unconditional self love is the only way that you can be happy. You have to learn to love yourself without conditions. True love isn't loving ourselves with conditions. True love is loving ourselves unconditionally. Most of us are taught to love if, to love ourselves if, to love that person if. I love you if you do this for me. I love you if you show up in this way for me. I love myself if I'm doing all this for myself. I love myself if I can be this. So, how does one cultivate that sense of unconditional self love for not just themselves in the present moment, but for every version of themselves? A technique that has really helped me has been to see myself as that innocent, vulnerable child in which we all come into this world as. At all of our cores, at all of our essences, we are that vulnerable, innocent child who is craving love and seeking love. Defensiveness is a form of protection. We're all just trying to protect ourselves from hurt. That is a core primal way of being for human beings. And there is no shame for being a human being. There's no shame in being wounded or having wounds. There's no shame in having acted in response to those wounds and doing what you thought was right at the time. What matters is that right now, in this present moment, you are taking the steps to heal. And the only way to heal is to give yourself radical, unconditional self love and acceptance for every single version of who you were, who you are, and who you will be in the future. Something I've done in meditations is think and imagine of my inner child, that vulnerable version of myself who just wanted pure love and protection and safety. I think of her and I send her so much love. I envelop her in that love. And I know that through space and time, through love, through the magic and the power of love, that love that I sent her is reaching her. And that in turn is helping me to heal in this moment right now. It's easy for me to think of my small, vulnerable inner child and send her love because, like, she's so cute and small and vulnerable. But it is kind of difficult to imagine that inner teen or that young adult and send that version of myself love. When we notice that barrier, I think that's where we can examine further and see that there is guilt and shame and unresolved feelings surrounding that version of ourselves. Living without guilt or shame is the most liberating way to live. When you live life feeling as though you deserve good things, it's more likely that you will receive good things in your life. I think that a lot of us feel as though we have to prove our worth in some way, whether it's through constantly working or having a certain amount of friends or extending ourselves to help others when we don't feel like it genuinely, or whether it's feeling like we need to uphold a certain exercise and diet routine and be this perfect person. I have to be a perfect mom. I have to be a perfect student. I have to be a perfect daughter. I have to be a perfect partner. We all know that no one is perfect, but we somehow all hold ourselves still to these impossible standards. And when we don't meet those standards, that creates a sense of guilt and shame and anxiety within us. Every single human being on this planet has the same exact worth as everyone else. There's nothing that can change your worth. So it's pointless to try to do anything to change your worth because you are already at max worth. You are already inherently worthy at maximum capacity, okay? And when you go through life truly believing that you are inherently worthy just as you are without changing anything, it's going to change the way you live your life. It's going to change the way you do everything because the motivating intent behind all of your actions is love. It is joy. It is play. It is creation. When you live your life believing that you are truly inherently worthy, that no action can alter your worth. Your reason for living life and acting and achieving things and doing things will be out of self love because you want to do it, because you love doing it, not because you feel like you have to do it or you have to prove something to anyone. When you're trying to prove something to the world, you're really just trying to prove something to yourself because you don't believe it about yourself. In the past, I've done self care things or I've tried to have habits and rituals. And I was like, why am I not relaxed right now? Why am I still not relaxed? I have felt very undeserving of rest. There have been many, many times where I'm resting and taking time to rest or taking time to do certain habits that should be making me feel rested, and I still don't feel rested after. I have this sense of anxiety and a racing mind. And I realize that it's because I did not feel deserving of that rest. So I felt guilty for resting. So because I felt undeserving of that rest, the guilt ensured that I did not enjoy that rest because I did not feel deserving of enjoying that rest or having that rest. It's such a wonderful feeling to truly rest and allow yourself to rest without feeling any sense of guilt. Releasing guilt around rest has made me so much more productive in my life. I just have more energy. If your intention is to love and to develop and cultivate that sense of self love for yourself and for the world, that is what should be guiding you in everything you do, in all of your actions. You need to be aware of what you're feeling. And I'm going to make another video on this about emotional literacy and how to become emotionally literate with yourself and with others. But first of all, you have to become aware of what you're feeling and how you're feeling and where you're feeling it in your body. We cannot resolve things that we're not aware of. We cannot resolve things if we do not take the time to figure out what it is we're actually feeling, where we're feeling it, how we're feeling it. We need to process things to get through them. Once we can actually identify what we're feeling and allow ourselves to fully feel it, you'll find that a lot of your emotions have layers to them that you weren't even aware of consciously. So, if we're feeling any sort of negative emotion, if you truly allow yourself to feel that feeling, locate it, and feel it within your body, you'll often find that it is just like the surface layer of the emotion, and there are so many other layers of emotions underneath it that need to be processed. And when you give yourself the time and space to focus on that emotion, you can go deep within and really process the layers of your feelings and get to the other side. And I promise the other side is always feeling lighter and better and more joyful. That is going to be a very useful tool in guiding your actions. You can start to set intentions from your authentic self. It's so much easier to uphold our intentions from a place of self love as opposed to guilt and shame, because you're a human being and there will inevitably be times when you cannot uphold your commitments and your intentions. There will be times where you let people down. There will be times where you let yourself down. The only way to get over that is through unconditional self love and forgiveness. Guilt and shame are not the authentic you. The victim is not you. The judge is not you. The real you is abundant, limitless love. The real you does not operate out of guilt and shame. The real you loves without conditions. The real you forgives. The real you is inherently worthy. The real you deserves good things. Once we realize that we are operating out of guilt and shame, we can then begin to set new intentions. The intentions I hold in my life are intentions of presence and awareness, so that I can always be present in what I'm feeling and I can always be aware of what I'm feeling. I don't do anything in my life because I feel like I have to do it or else I'm a bad person. I do things in my life because I love myself and it feels good to show up for myself and it feels good to show up for the people that I love. It feels good to express my love and my creativity out in the world. It feels good to live a joyful life without guilt. You don't need to carry around the chains and the burdens of your past with you. You don't need to be constantly punishing yourself. You deserve to enjoy your life. When you're in a state of constantly punishing yourself, that's living in the past. The past is over. Your life is here and now. You deserve to live guilt-free. You deserve to live shame-free. You deserve good things. It truly feels like I'm talking to that younger version of myself, and I'm pouring in all that love to her. And as I'm pouring in all that love to her, I'm pouring in all that love to you. And as you're watching, maybe you resonate with what I'm saying and you can identify with me and see me as a mirror for your own life. I'm so happy that I have such a supportive support bunny to motivate me on this journey. Thank you, Bunny Corn, for being here with me. Please leave any thoughts or feelings or experiences down below in the comments. That's really the intention of my channel, is to create a community of people where we can all share our love and experiences with each other and motivate and uplift each other and get dialogues going, and we can all be these mirrors of each other and inspire one another. I'm wishing you so much love and peace and joy and safety and good health. And until next time, bye. Pew, 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 pew. As long as you believe that you are guilty of something, you will seek out punishment. That's just the way things work.